Xi Jinping has zero military experience. He doesn't understand how almost impossible a task it would be to actually invade Taiwan. They don't all want to die for one madman's ego. My name's Topher. I'm from the USA. Been in Taiwan about 10 months now. My first career was in the military. I was an Army officer. The Army paid for most of my college. I graduated 6 months later is when September 11th happened. I was like, oh no, my plan. I thought I was just going to do 4 years, get a resume builder, and no problems.
So what was your reaction when hearing the announcement that we're going to invade Afghanistan?
Things got really serious really quickly for me, you know, because I was still like college kid, party, I'm here to have fun. And I figured that if I was going to go to war, I want to surround myself with people who really knew what they were doing. Not everyone in the military is competent. I started volunteering for as many training programs that the Army offers. Like I went through Air Assault School, Airborne School, and Ranger School. Training in the U.S. Army Ranger School, it can be really brutal. I'd rather go back into combat than go into Ranger School. Imagine Navy SEAL training, but it lasts like about 3 months. Stress, mental fatigue. The craziest hallucinations I've ever had have been because of sleep deprivation. Plus night vision goggles, it gets weird. I've seen people go into hypothermia because it was so cold for them. And when that's happening, they strip them down, put them in a sleeping bag, and their buddy, their battle partner, also strips down and gets in the sleeping bag with them.
Love of the game.
Use body heat. That experience really opened my eyes up. You can really push past what you think your limits are. Really push past. Because of that, I went into the 101st Airborne, which is a more elite unit. So those are the people that they sent in first.
That means like you guys parachuted in, or like how did that even work?
We mustered in Kuwait and then followed a bunch of tanks into Iraq in the middle of the night.
Oh, we drove, sorry.
You drove.
At that time, even the Humvees didn't have armor. Yeah, it was just like a cloth door.
You're an engineer, right?
Yeah, combat engineer.
Okay.
A lot of explosions. So the ordnance disposal people started to take care of all the bombs on the side of the road with the robots and stuff. But before that, it was the lowest ranking combat engineer running up to it with a chunk of C4 and put it on there, pop the detonator and run away before it blows up. Yeah.
That was you.
Oh, it wasn't me. It was my privates.
You delegate that.
Yeah, I was like, no, you go do that.
That's why I did the training.
Yeah, that's why I became an officer. They thought it was going to be over real quickly. Parts of the combat went really well, especially the air power side of things. But the U.S. completely underestimated how the Iraqi dictatorship kept the country together. And once that was gone, there was a huge power vacuum. And these groups that hate each other for thousands of years started to kill each other. So it really broke down into chaos quickly. Oh yeah, I saw people who lost everything. All sorts of tragedies happened to Iraqis, all sorts of tragedies happened to Americans. People who became burn victims or lost their limbs or just went crazy. Lots of suicides. As soon as I could cancel my contract with the U.S. military, I did. I didn't want to cause any more suffering in the world over someone else's corporate profits.
You saw bad things, right?
Oh,
Can
yeah,
I say bad
absolutely.
thing? Do you think this experience changed you in a person?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. Many people approach politics with a very ideological mindset. You have to understand that countries as a whole think very strategically. They might say they're doing this for democracy or we're doing this because this is what's right. None of that's true. They're doing it basically for profit and for survival.
How does that shape your view of cross-strait relations?
Xi Jinping, his base in China is a very nationalist base. And Taiwan is the easiest issue to rile up a national base. I'm mostly concerned that their economy is just horrendous and they attempt a conflict to try and control the narrative. Basically, we know everything is going terrible anyways because of our terrible leadership. Let's start a conflict. That way we get sanctioned. That way we can blame the West on everybody starving.
Why was the invasion of Iraq feasible, but an invasion here is just complete pipe dream?
Well, Taiwan's an island. That's the biggest reason. You got that water. It's pretty far, and it's not easy calm seas. Plus, the natural geography of Taiwan really lends itself to the defender. You got all the mountains, you got all the jungles and city urban areas. The natives would have a huge terrain advantage. There's less than 20 beaches that are suitable for landing craft. Trying to land your soldiers there would be almost impossible. Unless China develops some sort of like sci-fi level Iron Man technology, it's just not going to happen. And people have asked me, well, they can just shoot a bunch of missiles. Okay, well, that doesn't secure Taiwan. All that's going to do is rally the world against China. Taiwan is extremely important to the world economy. All the chips in any sort of satellite, aerospace stuff, Taiwan manufactures a lot of real specialty high-end things. And the Taiwan Strait is also extremely important to global trade. Anything that's going to mess with any of that is messing with a lot of people's money.
Because you have like a military background, right? Mm-hmm. How do you see the Taiwan Army?
The great thing about Taiwan is it only really needs to focus on the defense. We've seen how Ukraine can use just ingenious tactics to really punch above their weight class. And a big part of that is drone warfare. Taiwan is in a great position to develop a militarized drone industry. They already have all the smallest, best semiconductors. They already have great precise manufacturing, like the perfect place to develop this type of weapon system.
You have experience in the military as well.
Yeah, it's definitely different compared to Topher. I have to serve 1 year. Personally, I don't like it because we don't have choice, right?
Based on that, do you think Taiwan should focus more on a highly skilled professional army?
Conscripting everybody is still a pretty good idea because command and control is crucial. Putting people through the military, they know who to listen to. If there is an emergency, you know how to rally and organize and what to do. Much better than a population that had no training. It would just be chaos.
Do you think that people would be willing to fight China?
It's about the Taiwanese identity, how you think you are Taiwanese or not. Taiwanese identity is very divided.
Exactly, yeah.
Right?
You hear some Taiwanese people saying like, oh, we're a family with China.
Yeah.
And then other Taiwanese people saying, oh, we're a separate country.
I think that in the future, we'll just see that identity with Taiwan more and more solidify and separate from China. They don't have a great track record with the CCP. The economy is a sinking ship. You know, it's best to keep your distance.
I think, yeah, with the CCP, definitely no, but there are people that still like the culture and the history and the tradition.
Well, in many ways, there's a stronger historical Chinese culture presence in Taiwan than there is in mainland China because of the Cultural Revolution that happened.
So have you ever visited China?
I can't. I'm not even going to go to Hong Kong. I thought about that before I made the videos. I knew what the consequences were.
Yeah.
I think it's important to send a message that Taiwan is actually a safe, beautiful place, that the risk of an invasion isn't as likely, especially a successful invasion. Xi Jinping has zero military experience, so he doesn't understand how challenging, almost impossible a task it would be to actually invade Taiwan. I think there's a reason that Xi Jinping has had the largest purge of officers that China's ever seen. Mr. Chairman, this is a fantasy. This isn't going to work. You're not loyal. Get out of here. He still may attempt something out of his own ignorance, but it would be vastly easier for the PLA to take Beijing than it would be to take Taiwan. They don't all want to die for one madman's ego, I hope.
You left the military. What was adjusting back into civilian life like?
Really, really hard. My whole identity, my ego was all tied up in being an Army officer, being this hardcore guy. That might get me a free beer occasionally. That's about all it gets you. I should have taken about 2 years of doing nothing but meditating. I didn't do that. I went right into corporate America, working for a general contractor. And that was a really tough transition for me. I used to sit in on meetings with people who were pretty important. Went on to become the director of the CIA. We would be talking about life and death, operations, top secret stuff. It was a good use of your time. And then I went into a general contractor. We'd be like redesigning a hotel or something like that. And I'd be sitting in meetings and we'd talk for 2 hours about what shade of blue should the bathroom be. What am I doing here? I'm wasting my life. Money was great for sure. But I learned in the military, you never know when your time's up. It was real hard for me to talk with other people too. They'd be complaining about something Like, oh, this is cold. I'm like, you have no idea what cold is. Like, oh, I'm hungry. You have no idea what hungry is. It's difficult for me to adjust. I don't think I ever really did, actually. I think that's why I left.
A lot of Taiwanese people, they have American dream or they want to live in Europe. But for you now, you're living in Asia. So I was wondering, well, what do you feel about that?
The first part is that the U.S. is much more expensive than most people realize. Basically have to have a car. Well, I wish the USA had HSR. That's the problem with the USA, is that a lot of things don't get done because powerful interests don't want it to happen. So the people suffer. Healthcare, health insurance, just that costs as much as a luxury car. Trying to have a kid, daycare costs a ton. So it's extremely expensive. So people have to work very hard and they're very stressed out because they can't afford to take any breaks. So the amount of money I would need to have as much free time to live the same life that I live in Asia, I would need to make north of 150,000. Now, one of the reasons it's easier for me to live in East Asia is because I'm tall and I'm a man and I have white skin and I'm a native English speaker. And I will completely acknowledge that that is a huge advantage. It's not hard for me to find work out here that pays pretty well and the cost of living is low enough to where I don't have to grind away 50, 60 hours a week. Every week. I think as long as you understand that's not the typical experience for everybody in Taiwan, you appreciate it, then that's fine. But, you know, there's always the Westerner who takes advantage of their situation.
Do you find that teaching is more meaningful than the job that you had back at home?
Absolutely. I like teaching. I like connecting with students. Probably take things a little too deep. I think some of my students get annoyed when I ask them, why is it called January? What was the god Janus the god of? But, you know, I have students who, they know why they're learning English. They know that the dollar is used in all global trade.
You're talking about how you have free time. What do you do when you're not teaching and being Uncle Topher?
A lot of sleeping. I love naps. Love to work out. I meditate often. Yeah, I need to buckle down and learn Mandarin.
You gotta do it.
Yeah.
I would say you need to find a Taiwanese girlfriend. You're a senior,
Helps,
right?
Yeah. I'd go to school though.
You don't want to get all of your phrases from a girlfriend because then you sound like a girl when you're talking.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you date in Taiwan?
I have gone on some dates.
But did you like it? I mean,
Taiwanese women are beautiful. They're gorgeous. There's definitely a cultural difference. Filial expectation, how your actions reflect on the family, not just you. Taiwanese girls seem to be very quick to be jealous. I don't know if that's your experience as well.
Just being able to speak English is seen as an advantage to engage with you.
it's like a superpower.
Yeah,
so in Taiwan.
And because of that, there is a small minority that are competing for very few.
All right, well, that's fair.
And maybe they want to experience different culture. I mean, in a good way.
Oh yeah. America has a very strong soft power. All the music, Hollywood, and even YouTube, Google, Apple, all the brands.
One thing I was curious about, why did you choose to live in Kaohsiung over Taipei?
Okay. Kaohsiung checks all the boxes on my list. Great weather, not too crowded, great public transportation, a lot of good restaurants.
It's a good time to be in Kaohsiung. I remember when I moved here.
Yeah, a pollution problem. Yeah, it's changed a lot. So good job, Kaohsiung leadership in cleaning things up.
Did you have any bad experience?
I mean, I have a few gripes about Taiwan. Taiwanese people walk pretty slow, or maybe I walk too fast. All the betel nut, you know, what is this? It's a little gross. I got hit by a scooter. It was kind of my fault. I wasn't in a zebra crossing, sorry. I had to cross because there was construction blocking the sidewalk. You know, she braked, but she just slid and hit me. But even that wasn't so bad. Got the pain meds. It cost me like 300 Taiwan dollars. Trying to do that in the US, it would have been tens of thousands of dollars. Go to the emergency room, get an x-ray, all that.
So when are you going to renounce your US citizenship and become Taiwanese?
Once I'm making enough money to where declaring my taxes on the US starts to actually cost me. But I don't miss anything about the US in general. Life is so much better for me in Taiwan.